Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and we have Travis Willier Moostoos filling in for Varla Ventura on our Cryptid World tonight. We're going to have a great time with him coming up. But first, we need to say hello to each and every one of you. Why? Because that's what we do on this show. Eternity Eternal in the gold medal position. Necessary Dialogue with a silver. Kitty Caddywhack taking home the bronze medal tonight. Race Fan placing fourth. Mel WD-40, how you doing, buddy? He is lubing us up for tonight's show, because when you talk monsters with Travis, you got to be nice and lubed. So Mel's taking care of that as we speak. Mel, don't forget to give yourself a little shot as well. JSCO, how you doing? Lisa Smith and Shane Gord, thanks for coming on in. Scrolling on down, we have K17 Odd. K17 will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. Scrolling on down, T-Bone, my man, how are you? Frankie B, Desert Rat, and who is next? Gear Jammer, nice to have you all here. Lisa Smith again. JDS, nice to see you as we continue on with our roll call. Morwick, how are you tonight? Kathy Evans and Mama Catherine, there she is, making her return from the injured reserve last night. Mama Catherine, I don't know if she was injured or not, but Mama Catherine is back. We love her around here. She is the mama of SOR. Yep. And if anybody has to say anything about that, you got to brawl with me. You have to. Love you, my dear. Hope you enjoyed tonight's show. All right, moving on down. Shogun, how are you tonight? And People Unite, welcome back. And who else do we have here? And let's see here. Mickey G, how you doing, my friend? And we continue on with our roll call. Cosmic Joe, always a pleasure to have you here. Jaquetta, Undead Jed, nice to see you both as we continue on with our roll call. Yeah, we do. Cody Eiler, nice to see you. What in Tarnation, how are you doing? And who is next? Brent Von Owen is here. Brent Von Owen will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Be gentle. I think this is might be his first time signing autographs, maybe his second. Either way, just be gentle. He's still a rookie. Still a rookie around here. Danielle, how are you? Hi, neighbor, somewhere over there. No, hold on. Where are you? I think you live over there somewhere. That way. Yeah, that way. Fapster, how are you? And Boob to Joe's Maine, you've got Moose, or Meese, if you want to go plural, Meese. Cool Arrow, how are you? Skip to Malou, good morning to you. And let's see here. Who else do we got? Kurt M, always a pleasure. Govbuster, how you doing? I'm chewing on a Tums here. Got a little bit of heartburn. Cool Arrow. Necessary Dialogue, and Mama Catherine again, because she's just so awesome. Fapster, how you doing, buddy? You look worse, Fap. You look worse than me and Bunk combined. Yeah, you do. Carrie Doyle, how are you? Aussie Boss Tiger, thanks for coming on in. And Honest Content, good to see you. Undead Jed again. Jessica S. And Jerence Carter, everybody. Jerence Carter. Free your mind, how are you? Blue Cruise, nice to see you. Hold on. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We are having a great show talking monsters. Travis Willier Moostoos is here, the Cree monster hunter. He's got the great hair to prove it. Absolutely. So we're in roll call on our YouTube side right now. I know we're about 25 seconds away or somewhere around there from launch, say 28 seconds. And we are caught up in our roll call. Super Chat is open. It is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show, you know, on a monthly basis, on a nightly basis, on a weekly basis, on a yearly basis, and shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. This is my Bigfoot silly putty that I'm playing with. My son got that for me for Father's Day. Horns up, everybody. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin in the woods. We're together. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by CaribouCon. Get your tickets at cariboucon.com. We want to see you all up here for our first big paranormal conference right here in the heart of British Columbia. Go to cariboucon.com right now. We're getting into monsters, legends, and so much more. One of our favorite monster hunters, Travis Willier Moostoos, is here tonight to talk all things paranormal, supernatural, cryptid, ufological, none of that UAP stuff. And in hour 3, Swamp Dweller will join us with another creepy story. Big day in the UFO world as well. Grant Baker will break it all down with the UFO report coming up tonight. But first, let's say hello to our good friend. Travis Willier Moostoos is a Cree researcher, outdoorsman, monster hunter who combines Indigenous knowledge, traditional teachings, and years of wilderness experience to investigate some of Canada's most enduring mysteries. Drawing upon stories passed down throughout generations, Travis explores reports of mysterious creatures, unexplained encounters, and the legends that have shaped Cree culture for centuries. His work bridges the gap between oral history and modern cryptid investigations, offering a unique perspective of what may be lurking deep in North America's forests. Let's bring him on in. Travis Willier Moostoos, it is always a pleasure to have you on Spaced Out Radio. How you doing, my friend?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, our radio audience can't see this, but you're wearing a nice Bigfoot logo on your shirt there.
Oh, yeah. Armed and ready Bigfoot there. It's hilarious. I thought it was kind of funny. It's carrying a AR-15 or something, or M16, one of the two.
Where'd you get that? I like that.
I had picked it up from a little hunting goods shop along the way here in Alberta, and I've had it ever since. I have a couple of them actually. There's like Bigfoot and a few others, so it's pretty fun. Like funny
I love it.
patch.
I love it. I got to tell you, and this is one of the reasons why I'm excited you're here tonight. So a couple weeks ago for my birthday weekend, my Bigfoot team, we all gathered in the forest going out to take a look at our spot that has a lot of activity. We found two 18.5-inch tracks. They're about 9 inches wide, massive, absolutely massive. And hopefully Bigfoot doesn't know right now, but we got a trail cam right where they are now. And, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make it out there this weekend. But next week I'm excited to go check the trail cams and see how it turns out. But shortly after that, one of my team members, Angelina, was looking through the trees, and there's this grassy opening, this mossy opening in the trees.
Yeah.
And she watches this translucent creature about 7-8 feet tall, walking, not slowly walking, but like walking at a not like a speed walking, but not a slow walking towards the trees. And she said it was the weirdest thing she had ever seen. What is that? Have you ever dealt with something like that?
Yeah. The elders would say that Bigfoot's fur was able to do that and able to go translucent and almost make it go invisible as well. Like it was able to have that ability to appear and disappear and cloak itself in a sense. And amongst that, it was able to do other interesting. It has other interesting abilities, connected to the universe and this world, I should say.
So a lot of people claim that, that might be a glimmer man or Sasquatch cloaking itself.
Yeah.
What do you think of those ideas?
Yeah. That's, there's other beings too, like a lot of like the insect world, dimensional beings, they are able to do this too. So there's quite a few different kind of, I should say, a set of individual species that can do such a cloak, and even some of them too naturally, like big, like if there's some that get to that size, some legendary status size, they can actually achieve this ability with their natural survival evolution. So with that being said, I'm with it on that, like especially when it comes to Bigfoot, and it's what I've heard about the fur being able to be translucent and take different colors and be invisible pretty much in a sense.
So you think Bigfoot hair is much like deer hair or polar bear hair, that is hollow, that is able to absorb light to change the color? Because most people don't know that the skin of a skin of a polar bear is actually black. And and it's the translucent hair that absorbs the sunlight that gives it its white color.
Yeah, there's certain spider species, that go completely clear. They almost look like icicles themselves. And so like there's a lot of different species in nature that can achieve this ability, even just naturally. And so I'm with it on there with it being a Sasquatch and the ability to cloak itself and move around, and that, or if the spiritual energy was that the frequency that was that strong, it could emit a distortion like that and even leave signs and symbolery on the ground. There's been that too. We've seen symbols be made, not seen them, but like the next day you wake up and you see these markings that were left from the stars, and so there's things like that.
What do you think of these creatures? Are they there just to do their own thing? Are they there to protect the environment? What are they all about?
Their existence with the earth is close relationship, and just as we are with the earth as well. It's just we've tend to like turned our connection off, or we've just kind of, like I said, walked away from that world. But that's it's definitely a part of us. Like, we're supposed to be in harmony with that, in harmony with the universe and the animals, and like I said, the nature around us, and it's there. It's like, it wants us to be a part of that, and just that's a tough question, especially with the times and what we're doing now. But yeah. So anyway, aside from that, is they exist in their natural framework with the universe, and they do have their wow, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, on our video feed on YouTube for our radio audience, I just posted the picture of the Sasquatch print. Now, the foot in that photo is from one of my teammates. His name is Kevin.
Yeah,
Kevin is
big guy.
Kevin is 6'5" and wears a size 16 shoe.
Yeah.
You can see that print is at least 2 to 2.5 inches bigger than his foot.
Yeah,
that is lengthwise. Never mind widthwise, which is probably 8-9 inches.
And that's about the size. Like, my dad would like say that the print was left around the creek in the area next to our reservation called Juicard. And my dad grew up around the area there, well, in between there and the other reservations nearby. And that was the big news. Like, everybody was out there taking a look at these massive tracks left by the Bigfoot, essentially. And yeah, that's what it was. Like, even a tall guy did that too. And that's good. I like that. That's definitely a sign that they're leaving, like, acknowledging your guys' presence and stuff in the forest. And I wouldn't be surprised you start hearing some of the knocking, and you get some of the other other stuff happening. But you'll know if you're not wanted, right? Stones will fly, and our trees, or things like that.
Well, it's funny because in that area they have how can I put it? They've scared us out of the forest a couple of times.
Yeah.
Okay. And they have also allowed us into places that, felt very uncomfortable. Now,
Right.
We do have an S or a W that has made an appearance. I didn't see it, but we heard it just about a week ago, it was 2 weeks ago, where in behind the ravens, it was saying, what was it saying? Oh man, I don't even think we got it on recording. Let me hear you. Let me hear you. Let me hear you. I love you. Let me hear you. I don't know what "let me hear you" means, Travis. Do you have any definition for that?
I would have to say that's it's definitely trying to it's doing a call out, right? And it's trying to acknowledge that connection, and trying to lure you in, or trying to, and it might not be it might be a darker entity, if that's the case. Usually, a lot of times, usually if it's from the higher realm, like, we're making the connection, and we're usually receiving an acknowledgement in the sense of, like, how should I say it, like through ceremony, or we're getting it through but usually when you're hearing stuff like that, it's the spirit world is calling to you. It could be a human spirit as well out there, but it's like, even like the Bigfoot spirits and stuff, when they acknowledge us or give symbolry in our ceremonies and stuff like that, is like I said, it comes through that, I should say, through the visions, and through telepathy, and I should say people receive these messages, and it's like relayed through the spirit world, and that's that vibration, that connection through the earth and the ground, and through, I should say, through all the all the nature around us, that's kind of like what like I said, the Bigfoot is. It's there. It's protecting that. It exists on that framework and in that higher frequency, and yeah, it does venture out of that. Like you can see it in our dimensional, in our density, but like I said, if you do, usually it is like it's very quick, and it's very it leaves the signs, it leaves the symbolry, it acknowledges you. Sometimes you hear it, so like I've had a few people tell me that they've heard it out in the woods, and it completely freaked them out, right? Hearing that growl, like of that deep vibrato, and then smelling it too, smelling that it's almost like a putrid, rancid taste, like not taste, but like a smell that just like flows through the air, and kind of he's like, okay, he's like either a bear, but I would see the bear by now, so he kind of knew something else was up, and so he left, and they came back later, like the next day, and then there was like a tree just like crossing the path, like kind of deal, and or there was like a few times where like the hunt, like people were like, okay, yeah, they're not told not to go over there or the areas, and they do, and they run out of the woods in the middle of the night, freaked out because of something like thrown their way, or so it's like if it doesn't want you there, it will definitely let you know, but it's also acknowledging if you are leaving them, if you're leaving the gifting, if it's a gifting site and you are leaving, they are acknowledging that they are around, they're checking it out, they're seeing, and and that's good, like they see it as a kind of like acknowledging that they're around there. And yeah, if you got a trail cam, you might just catch a few glimpses or images of them, and like they reveal themselves to certain people. There's a few people that have had the story where they were by the lakes and they seen them, and but when they saw them, they were completely like, it just kind of like froze them, because it was just something so beyond their natural, day to day, like what they're used to seeing day to day, right? And then they see that, and it just kind of like, kind of sets them back for a second, and they're like, whoa, they kind of get freaked out. But yeah, no, it does. Some people, it does have a natural connection too, and there's that's a strong connection for the earth and the forest, and what we're all here doing in this life. And yeah, it's like, if you're making those connections with them, then yeah, that's a solid start right there with that. That's what it tells me. So
I find it absolutely fascinating. One more thing I wanted to ask you before we move on to your monsters. We put out a trail cam for 2 weeks, about 15 feet from my gifting tree.
Yeah.
And the day before we went out there, no, the day of, pardon me, we went out there that evening. It was this past Saturday. I had a First Nations gentleman come into my daytime office, and we were talking about Sasquatch. He was from Bella Coola in British Columbia. And he says to me, I have something for you to put at your gifting site.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay. And he ran to his truck, came back into my office, and he handed me an eagle feather. I said, I don't know if I could take this, because I know eagle feathers are very, very spiritual for Indigenous people. What is the power of an eagle feather, and why would he want me to put it there?
Well, that's like you said, it's a high honor to be receiving one, or to get one, and to leave it back in the nature, or to offer that back is quite a nice way of like opening up that relationship, or that connection in that sense. But with the eagle feather, and like that's usually where like I said, it comes down to it's part of like it's the closest bird to creator. It's up, it carries usually it's overlooking, it's watching over us as it flies over, it's carrying our prayers and stuff. So like that feather is almost like it's almost like it's going to help you, it's going to help pray and bring that closer, that connection. That's what that's for. So
I'll be honest with you, I didn't feel proper. And I said, I don't know if I can do this. Right. Like I didn't feel worthy of accepting that, but
Yeah.
I knew it was important to him that it got there. So that's why I took it and we placed it in the tree. But here's something we noticed on our trail cams. Okay. When we went to gather our first trail cam about 15 feet from our gifting site, we noticed that there was a dime and a copper beaded bracelet that had somehow arrived. And when we checked the trail cams, I went back 2 weeks trying to find this. I could see the bracelet on the tree up until June 8th. June 7th, the last video on June 7th did not have the bracelet on it. Yet June 8th, the morning of, when the first video was set off by a rabbit on our trail cams, the bracelet was there. How do these things just manifest there, man? I've never had that happen.
Yeah, that's those are like trinkets, like they're leaving, that could be gifts too. And those come from like Little People World, or like it's along that lines, especially with things like shiny items and little bracelets and trinkets like that. So, and that, like those dimensional beings, like they're such a high frequency, like it's even hard just to catch that like on camera or anything like with our technology. So it's it's not that much of a shock that they're able to go and leave that there, and then it appears there. And spirits too, like the spirit world, that has interesting abilities and capabilities, and it could be somebody acknowledging those too, that area is what it is. And so it's like I said, that's very interesting that you mentioned that, and I'll be considering that for a later conversation. But yeah, no, that's yeah.
Well, I could tell you this. I know it wasn't human that put it there, because there were no videos of humans around the tree when that happened. So I don't know whether it was Little People. I don't know whether it was the Sasquatch that put him there. All I know is that I traded them. I took them and I traded them, and I left a glow stick and I left a Canadian quarter.
Yeah.
In return, because they seem to like coins. Yeah.
And that's, that whole, the frequency of the Little People are of the forest, right? They're the forest people. And that's like one thing is, they have that connection with the Bigfoot. So it's like, to them, they do trade their, have relations with the Bigfoot, and if the Bigfoot come across something over the time or get something odd from them, they'll just hold on to it or keep it around. And and you guys are leaving stuff, so they could have just brought that or left it there from, and like I said, they could use the trees as portals, and sometimes they just hop around, and they're able to get away from whatever, or go into the next set of area of trees at the their locations where they want to set up these drop points at. Or so it's like they have a network, like I said, a framework that they exist on, and that's part of their what they do is if you're making a connection with them, right? So I think they're just taking it as a positive thing. They're as long as you're respecting their preserve or their area wherever they're they're living, and it's not getting too changed drastically or whatnot, and they'll acknowledge what you're doing. So
I like it, and it's about building that connection, and that's what it's all about, is building that. I don't know if you could ever say there's trust there, but there's respect there.
Yeah,
showing respect for the area.
Right on. Well, yeah, no, that's really cool stuff you showed me there. Like that's it's good. It's a good start there. Like good, you're getting some good good feedback from it. So
good. Travis, I'm going to get you to hold on. We're going to break here at the bottom of the hour. Travis Willier Moostoos filling in for Varla Ventura on Our Cryptid World tonight. He is a monster hunter from the Cree Nation in northern Alberta, and we love it when he shares his stories. More stories coming up after this.
All right.
All right, there we go. We are clear. Definitely not null. How are you? Jeff Steve Garvey is here. He'll hit a home run for you. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Terry Mills, how are you? Jasmine Taz, nice to see you. Yeah, we love the Travis Willier Moostoos around here. Badass, that guy. Badass. Thank you, Jason Finch. Thomas Lynch, welcome to SOR chat. Strange Fractal, nice to see you. Welcome to SOR chat as well. Paul Nicholas, nice to see you. Yeah, Paul, I love Travis's perspective and experiences too. He's amazing. Yvonne, welcome to SOR chat. Don't forget, if you're new here, hit subscribe, ring that bell. We're here 5 days a week. I'll let you all in a little secret. You didn't hear it from me. Okay. Promise me. You got to mark it in the chat room. You didn't hear it from me. Okay. Tell me in the chat right now. You did not hear this secret from me. I'm waiting. Jay Truth, how are you? Exactly, Chaz. Hear what? Hear what? Hear what? Okay, you didn't hear this from me. Hi, Tamisha. How are you? We're going back to 7 days a week. Robert Anthony, how you doing? Yay, how are you? You didn't hear a word. Lisa Piper, how are you, my friend? Going to be an announcement soon. We're going to play this one up a little bit. I don't know what you're talking about, Kitty Caddywhack. Replays on Sunday. Who does that? No one. No one. No one. People are loving you in the chat room, Trav.
Cool. Excellent. I hope they enjoy the show, Dave.
Oh, God, they love you, man.
I'm going to top up my coffee here real quick.
Yeah, we got about a minute. It's, we'll talk about it later. I'm going to do an official announcement here coming up here. Michigan Sandman, how are you? Thank you to T-Bone. Thank you to Danielle for the amazing super chats. Greatly appreciate your love and support. I love playing with Silly Putty. It's all over my hands right now. And here we go, everybody. We're into the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We always appreciate you tuning us in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. We're going to bring back Travis Willier Moostoos here momentarily to talk about some monsters and legends. But first, we want to remind all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, our archives are always free on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Travis Willier Moostoos. He is part of the Cree Nation up near Edmonton, Alberta, north of Edmonton. He's an Oilers fan, so you know he's good. You know he's good people that way. Likes his hockey, loves his monsters, and his connection to the spirit world. Travis Willier Moostoos, welcome back to Spaced Out Radio, my friend. How are you?
Woo! Feeling good. Feeling good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I could turn this into a great hockey show right now, but we got to talk monsters and legends here.
That's right.
It's been a busy start for a lot of people in the cryptid world. How's the cryptid world for you right now? Is it quite busy up in northern Alberta?
Up in northern Alberta here. Just, as normal as it can be, this is it's been a part of our way of life, especially if we're we're on that path of spiritual journeys, and if we're doing ceremony, then to be acknowledged or to have this connection with certain cryptids of that higher frequency it does happen. But as for sightings of the strange, like the like I said, say the darker ones of it has dwindled down in the sense of I haven't really gotten any people showed me some interesting skulls and stuff, but I've been keeping my ears out for more, and I haven't got any more reports. Just a lot of bears. A lot of people have been reporting black bear activities and reports of seeing them, and a lot of UFO stuff. But that's, other than that, it's like the animals have been more frequent than the monsters. But not to say that some of these animals don't get to legendary status and start to get to that size or start to make their reemergence again. There we go.
I had to put on my Edmonton Oilers hat after Acuff in our chat room said he's an Oilers fan, so he hasn't seen a cup in decades. Hey, us Oilers fans stick together. We stick together. And we're going to make sure that this is our year, as it is every year, because we got the two best players in the world on our team.
There it is. Yeah.
Here it is.
That's going to flow
that
good.
will hopefully go our way. And maybe we can find a goalie and a defenseman. But that's for another conversation. Why the UFO increase, do you think?
this time, this frequency of the planet, of the Earth, they've, they're here. They're making their appearances for those that are, meant to see that or experience that at this time. I did say that a lot of us would, it's quite different than what people would think that, like the aliens that, they're just all going to come landing or flying in. But a lot of us are just going to receive the information or see these, have these experiences before they, get here. So it's like, it's almost, they're making that spiritual connection to our planet and to our people, well, the people on Earth, and I should say just as a globe, as a planet, humanity, right? And and the animals too. I guess I should say the animals, their frequency with that as well. And like the UFO activity, it's even happening for people like that would never ever bring it up, like, or ever, like dare to question it, and out of their own set of faith or beliefs, and but they're approaching me with it now and showing me videos, or asking me or telling me things that, like, that they've seen stuff, and but yeah, no, like at this time, like I said, it's part of the process of us, I should say, in our evolution as humanity into the next level. Like I said, eventually the prophecy was that we would join that world, the next level, and be part of that civilization, and expand our horizons as humanity. And that was one, like I said, one of the many prophecies of our people, and yeah, it was pretty cool. It was like what was so said in that time, and I'll tell more about that in the future. As for like I said, the UFOs, and a lot of people, like I said, it's kind of bringing them more, it's awakening their frequencies, their senses, and it's actually activating a lot of them to, it's almost giving them like a more that connection back to the universe. It's like part of that. When you look back at the stars, and you're looking at the beginning of time, when you look back at the stars, and so when you're looking back to the start of us, like everything, and that's a deep rooted connection in the universe to have. So
why is there such a strong connection between a lot of First Nation people and the star people, or what people would call aliens or extraterrestrials?
Yeah, it's that on the spiritual framework that we're all on, this frequency, and when we're all starting off as just spiritual beings, and the universe was assigning us these places and where we would be, and a lot of us, like, we considered those other beings, otherworldly beings, to be our relatives, our star relatives, like in the galaxy, in our galaxy, I should say, in the galactic scale, and so we always refer to them as their star nations, and they were always like like a brothers or sister tribe to our beings here on Earth, and it was always seen as like a peaceful, because like they would acknowledge us on our ceremonial levels, and they still do, and with our ceremonies, star ceremonies, and lodges, and appearances through vision quests, and many different encounters with our people. We're just like we said, we always felt we came from the stars as well, but with this knowledge, like when we say that the universe was, I should say, putting us across the galaxy and asking where our spirits were going to go, and assigning different roles to different beings and animals, and there's a whole tale about all that, and so this, these universal beings, having us here on this, on this planet, and like I said, we're allowed to make that connection eventually with these otherworldly beings. It's just, and we have through the centuries and eons, like we have made different contacts with other, beings across the galaxy, because there's plenty of them, and but I'm just saying it's always seen as that, and they usually, when they did descend down to our planet, and make their appearance through spirit world, they were always very very courteous, and very almost curious about just how we existed in here and lived here, and how we were very connected with the planet and the animals, and they were very keen on that. They liked that, and oftentimes they would leave, like, beautiful crystals for our people, or different kind of gifts, like they'd have different kind of fabrics and blankets, and different kind of they had their own kind of clothings and stuff, right? But we'd always trade with them our stuff too, and hand over hides, whatever we could, right? In that time. And like I said, they were very, very, very happy about that. And their technology and their connections to us, and it's like it's almost like they were keeping tabs on us since our very early days, because they would, like my elders and my I should say my spiritual guide and my guides that would tell me about their experiences, said that they would have the aliens told them themselves, they're like, yeah, we they, for food and stuff, they just go over a farmer's field and just take a bunch of them, just real easy, and just kind of with their technology, just kind of pick them all up, and they enjoy their similar kind of styles to us and on Earth, and food choices, I should say, and they said that the government had they had it worked out with the government, that they were able to take these cows, and the government would just pay farmers out for that if that happened and stuff. And it was pretty interesting what he would say about when his encounters with the extraterrestrial, our Star Nation brothers and sisters, right? And a lot of them would like I said, it's almost like they've been around, and they've always been around. It's just a matter of us and our frequency, and how we're developing that intuitive I should say connection and belief in ourselves to gravitate with that, and to receive the messages and downloads from them, and then also too, it's not only will it help us in terms of our spirituality and our connection to the earth, but it also helps the whole planet in itself. If we're all receiving our information from the universe, and we're all getting these these downloads to progress the planet in itself, or even our own worlds that benefit the planet in general, and these inward when we receive these downloads inwardly, it reflects outwardly, right? It's like ripples, in a rain, when a raindrop hits the water and those ripples float out. So it's that connection with us, deep connection to the universe. It's meant to be. It's very natural, and it will help our evolution with technology and just our day-to-day lives and what we're meant to do in the universe, and receiving those downloads and stuff too. You'll have connections not only to our spiritual world, but you'll have deep-seated connections to, like I said, all the ancestors, family, or I should say the higher beings, which people refer to them as angels. These are people that have attained such a higher spiritual level on our planet, or our existence, our plane of density, and they have ascended essentially through the levels of spirituality, and they're able to be there as protectors or guardians of this said world, and messengers. They have these different levels of that. But so yeah, just sorry about going on here, man.
No, I think it's great. Travis Willier Moostoos is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. He's from the Cree Nation, just north of Edmonton, Alberta. Explain what you mean by downloads that you get. You mentioned that a couple of times. There's a lot of people out there who may not understand what you mean by that.
Okay, so sometimes you'll hear a frequency. It will just happen out of nowhere. You'll hear it loud, it will just be a loud. Everything goes quiet, and then you'll just hear a loud ringing that overtakes everything else. You know what I mean? So you're receiving some sort of frequency within your mind, and that resonation, it resonates within your mind, right? And that frequency, usually it means in our people that you're going to be receiving a vision, or you're going to be having the right kind of you'll figure out the right type of solutions to the problems in life, or you'll like it's almost like you'll have the right kind of I should say like you're in the right type of frequency that's just like you're in the flow of the universe, so you're going to be making more of like I said, more positive or more like what you're like we're all designed on these journeys, like in the universe, what we're meant to do and what we're here for, and this purpose in life, and that's just kind of what it gears us towards in our destiny and just in our day-to-day lives, like where we're at in this world and existence, and because there's levels to every age, and every stage in life has its own cycles and has its own levels to achieve, right? So that's why, you know, some people, if they don't put in the work, they'll be stuck in that same some of those same levels over time, and you know, and that's and you know, like a lot of the times, like the extraterrestrials, they're trying to help those people, like to help them awaken that, or help them question and start to make that I should say make that journey, you know, towards the universe and spirituality and becoming one with themselves and understanding of this existence, right? So the downloads themselves, they can benefit you in many ways, whether it's helping you reschedule your life in such a progressive way that it alters your and changes your life and your habits in life, like your sleep schedule is your what your intake is, it could be even your what your, like I said, what your thought process is on certain subjects. You will make positive changes for the like in the universe's grand scale of the connection of and flow of this universe, and that's like where it's trying to progress a lot of our people, and then that's like where the ideas come from, where people start having these inventions like of you know like that's just like, yeah, you know, like when they say Tesla had a lot of his inventions come to him, he, you know, it was like through he said the ether and stuff, but that's what we refer to as the downloads, and refer to the ideas of visions when they come for the future. But some people they have them differently. Some people get them intellectually. Some people get them for visions of the future because they're messengers on this plane, right? And these are messages coming from their ancestor, trying to warn them or help them along the way, to help them figure out what's going on in this world and life. And that's what I mean by that. So that's kind of. Yeah.
I want to ask you about some weird and strange type of creatures. You have dealt with lizard people, beaver people, owl people, all sorts of different creatures that you call people because they have humanistic characteristics. What are some of the creatures you have dealt with regarding this?
You know, like I never had to, like, it was you know, the owl people, that was like because they were able to speak and stuff. Like some of them are able to give, like, they'll come down and they'll speak for the spirit world, and like the spirit world will speak through them. You know what I mean? Like they'll land there as like an animal, like they'll land there, but then they'll, you know, the spirit world will start talking through them. You get what I mean? Like, but as for the, you know, like the little people and stuff like that, and like that frequency, that connection, like a lot of those stuff, like I said, were through ceremony. The weird and cryptid though, like some beasts, like they can get that size, or they can it can be manipulated by other dimensional beings, and they have genetic alterations, or they start to look a little bit different or freaky. Some exist in that part of in the distortion, wherever it may have opened up in our universe, because we're always moving throughout the galaxy, right? We're always kind of like moving as a planet. So it's you know, when we start to hit different kind of other zones of the space, you know, we can flow into different frequencies that may open up portals, and dimensional beings may flow on through or come through, or may give them space and time for them to exist, you know, or roam freely. There's been a lot of times, like a lot of places left with like scratch marks, tiles and things like that ripped off the sides of walls, and we've like I said, there's been, the occasional person will see the beings like that, that appear to those that seem to be under the influence and stuff like that. I'll get reports like people saying like, yeah, we've seen one, like it was in the field, like it was, but then when we start to like really try to like, is that a moose or, what is that? Like, let's go check it out. And then the thing started hopping around like in the field, like jumping like huge, like almost like 20 feet in the air, but traveling across the field like in a zigzag, like real fast. And they said that it looked like it wasn't a Bigfoot, like because they would have said it was like a big man, like if you can imagine like a guy in a ghillie suit jumping real big or something. But it wasn't that. They said it had the legs like of a goat, like a goat person. And yeah, so like, and that was like a few years back. And so we're always like driving around trying to find this thing and see it. And then a few years before that, and another lady, an elder lady, said at the time she was a younger woman, but now she's one of the elders of our community. And she, when she seen it, the thing was a person. It looked like it was a goat. It was a man. And they're like, hey, she's like, hey, you need a ride. And the people that she was with seen the hooves on the guy's feet, like, but he looked like a person, like, halfway, like, and he's like, sure. And then they're like, just drive, get out of there. And sure enough, they were driving, and the thing started running just as fast as the vehicle right beside him, just staring at them, like not taking his eyes off them, just running, like just looking at them. And they're just like freaked out. Like they were, she told me that. And I was like, okay, that's definitely like, one of those reports that, I'll keep my eye out for and whatnot. But she hasn't seen it since, but that was the only time. And there was other people in the vehicle that were there, said that person was running or whatever right beside it, and it was freaking them out. And there's the tales, right? Like of the half humanoid, half animal people that were, well, in the ancient world. And sometimes like those connections and bloodlines, they carry down throughout the ages. And some people, they inherently they one day figure it out and make that connection. And sometimes those people, they choose to live that life, and they just live in the forest, like as those beings, like as people, like, because if you're able to live as that and free as an animal, like, then there's really no, it would like they'll often take that life because it's a beautiful existence with that, in that nature and that realm. And what I was getting at too with the lizard people and a lot of those the Kinnipeck, they, like I said, that's a lot of there's a lot of, it ties into a lot of ceremony. There's ceremonies with that, and the teachings go back as far as the ancient world, like, before any
Right.
Canada and all that, right? Like, yeah.
Well, let me stop you right there. What did these lizard people look like?
Some of them actually, like, they look similar to like how, like, you see like iguanas, and like like sometimes like they'll have like the heads of snakes. Sometimes but like when they look like snakes, they're very brown, like they have brown scales, and sometimes they'll have like they'll go for like the yellow eyes and whatnot. And sometimes you'll see these when the little, like, they're smaller beings, like, if you see them around the rivers or the rocks, like in like what I was told, you see them in the mountains, right? And a lot of these beings, they live in the mountains or in the southern areas. You get to see them, and every now and then you'll see them poke out of in the forest, like in the hills, like Swan Hills areas, and like around in those like we call them like they're like river dogs, right? They swam like, because like they swam like dog, like they look like a dog when they swam, right? And like, because they used all their forelimbs, like kind of like similar, and swam around the rivers. And our people were very, we traveled canoe, like in the ancient world, right? Like we burned out giant spruce trees, and you'd see them around, and so.
Interesting how it plays out, my friend. Travis Willier Moostoos is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. He's from the Cree Nation, north of Edmonton, Alberta. He's an Oilers fan, so you know he's a good person, because all Oilers fans are. Not like them Calgary Flames fans or Vancouver Canucks fans that just seem to have a little bit of ego to them.
Yeah, you got to keep your eye out for them.
Absolutely. But here's one thing we are going to do. We are going to continue to talk monsters in hour 2 with Travis Willier Moostoos. Yes, he's very eloquent and beautiful in describing the creatures that walk amongst us. We'll be right back. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, we'll be right back, guys.
Our merch is Bigfoot approved. We have t-shirts, we have mugs, we have hoodies, we have socks, we have hats, we have stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can buy Spaced Out Radio merch and look the part? Our merch ain't ugly, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Lurking within the forested region of the 108-mile ranch, where the worlds of the normal and paranormal collide. CaribouCon is waiting for you, bringing together a panel of renowned experts in the paranormal, cryptid research, and UFO phenomena fields. Get ready for a spine-tingling weekend in the heart of British Columbia. Enjoy fascinating discussions, presentations, tours of local haunted areas, and skywatching. Learn from investigators, authors, and enthusiasts who explore everything from ghost hunting techniques to sightings of Sasquatch and beyond. Whether you're a seasoned paranormal researcher or just love a good spooky story, this is your chance to connect with fellow enthusiasts in one of BC's most mysterious areas. Tickets are on sale now. Grab yours before they're gone. Visit cariboucon.com for details, tickets, and updates.
Are you ready to dive into the weird and wonderful world of cryptids, cartoons, and chaos? Meet Dirty Filth, Spaced Out Radio's resident cartoonist and master of the mysterious. Every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific, join him live on the Spaced Out Radio YouTube channel for Cryptid Cartoons with Dirty Filth, a hilarious hour where he sketches bizarre beasts, shares mind-bending stories, and battles his mischievous cats. Whether you're a UFO enthusiast, paranormal fan, or just love quirky art, Dirty Filth filters the universe through his unique lens, creating cartoons that capture the strange, dark, and supernatural. Follow Dirty Filth on X at Filth1 or Facebook at Dear Filth for more filthy fun. Find his link in the description below.
Spaced Out Radio wants to hear from you. We love our community, and your voice truly matters. Drop a comment after every show and let us know what you thought. Agree with our guests? Tell us why. Disagree? We want to hear that too. We read every single comment. Jump into the live chat during the broadcast and be part of the conversation in real time. Got a killer topic idea? Your suggestions help shape the show. And if you want to take it even further, join our Patreon for bonus content and direct feedback opportunities with Dave and the team. This is your show as much as it is ours. Whether you're a longtime listener or brand new, we want your thoughts, your questions, and your ideas. And let's keep building this incredible community together. Spaced Out Radio, where the conversation never ends. What are you waiting for? We're listening.
With 5 explorable Gold Rush-era buildings said to be home to spirits of a time forgotten, the 108-mile heritage site in the heart of BC's Caribou region offers a unique opportunity for thrill seekers and history buffs. For an evening of historical fun, step into our guided ghost tours, where spine-chilling stories of Gold Rush legends and unexplained encounters come alive. For those craving even more, inquire with us about conducting a hands-on paranormal investigation of your own. And if you're truly brave, book our haunted sleepovers. Spend the night at our B&B inside the McNeil House to truly experience this historical landmark and its ghostly secrets firsthand. For booking or inquiries, go to haunted108.com.
All right, I am back. We're coming back in 40 seconds. Thank you to Mark. Thank you to T-Bone. Thank you to Danielle for the great super chats tonight. We greatly appreciate your love and support of SOR. Who came in late? Let's take a look here. Got you all. I've said hello to all of you. Yes, I have, because I'm that guy. All right. And we're coming back in 15 seconds. Ten seconds. And hi, Claudette. How are you? Here we go. Here we go with hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We always appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club, Idioglossia. Idioglossia is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Hey, I want to give a big shout out to my new project, Haunted 108. Why? Well, we just had our first booking for an overnight experience here recently, and we got a 5-star review. The ghosts were active, the beds were comfortable, and the host and hostesses were fantastic. Yeah, I don't know if many of you know that I have a side paranormal company called Haunted 108, but it's very exciting. It's a overnight ghost tour at the 108-mile heritage site right here in 108-mile Ranch, British Columbia. I want you all to give it a try. Go to haunted108.com. You can book your overnight experience or 2. And if you're traveling from the United States, maybe going to Alaska or wherever you are traveling, remember that's in Canadian dollars. Yeah, Canadian dollars, which is like cheap, cheap, cheap for our American friends. That's right. It's very, very exciting. So I want to make sure you check it all out. Go to haunted108.com. Get your paranormal experience. You become a ghost hunter. We let you use all of the gear, all of the equipment to try and attract some spiritual activity. I would say 9.5 times out of 10, it's going to work, especially at this location. And there's a good chance you'll even see a ghost or two there. That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Travis Willier Moostoos is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio, and he is a member of the Cree Nation, north of Edmonton, Alberta. He's a good guy. He's a monster hunter. He's very spiritual. We like him around here. Travis, how you doing, my friend? It is good to have you back on SOR.
Right on, right on. Ready to go here. Yeah, no, that was hilarious. I bet I have a bunch of friends that were laughing at the whole Calgary thing there a little while ago. So that's kind of funny.
Good. They should. Stinking no good ought to be tossed out of the NHL. Calgary Flames fans. Seriously. No need. I know I'm going to probably take some heat for that, but that's okay. Right before the break, you were explaining what a lizard person looks like. I would also like to know, if you don't mind, about some of the other stranger creatures that we may not hear too much of, that you have dealt with over the years.
Yeah. It's like a lot of different beings that, like, on a spiritual dimensional level, depending on what if they're coming from the stars or if they're coming from another dimension altogether, they take odd shapes at times, odd forms, and even some that have, like, through telepathic means, have even anamorphed themselves into, like, something that I'd be able to understand and resonate with, just so they could show or have some, a vision, like, for them to make that connection with or speak through, as for like the different spiritual beings, the extraterrestrials and the forest beings, the dwellers out there, like the deep northern dwellers, like these they're like fur beings, like almost like I was talking about them earlier, about the coyotes. Those are interesting ones. Like I should say the coyote humanoids, and they're and there's the shapeshifters, the gifted ones. That's been my like my stranger experiences. Seeing that, when that happened, that was probably like that was something that was like, I wasn't expecting how that was going to look or how that was going to be, and when it happened, and I was like, whoa, like that's how that looks like. It's very it's quite like, it took me for a moment there to, like, just to kind of like, okay, like, all right, so that just happened, like, all right, like, as for like the dimensional beings, like if they're very nefarious and stuff, like they, like 1 minute they'll be trying to, like, get at you, like through somebody, like they'll just be like trying to, like, they're very like furious, have this rage in them, but then once you subdue them or get the better of them, they start trying to, like, they start to, like, play, like, how should I say it? They start to, like try to, like, play like almost like a victim, or like, oh, I'm sorry, I love you, I'm sorry, like, I never meant to do that, or they'll start trying to, like, trick you, to, like, get you to, like, let them go again or free, like, and that's a hard one to deal with when they start to do that. That's a creepy one when they start to do that and start to try to, like, win you over and whatever, especially if it's like, if it's family or somebody that like, or in the community or area, it's very hard to deal with, like, stuff like that. As for, like, the animal, like, the strangeness of it all, like, that's when it starts to get creepy for me, like, when it gets to that kind of level.
Have you ever dealt with a creature that you've never seen or heard of, and that has kind of maybe caused you a little bit of stress, emotion, or even fear?
Well, like, the water creatures are quite different in their own regard, and some of them even get there naturally. They tend to kind of give me a little bit of a, like, they creep me out a little bit there with that. Like, I don't know if that's just from the ancient ones and their dealings with them, but yeah, those ones always, like, are kind of that's one that kind of like intrigued me. And when I learned about it, it always kind of kept me a little bit at, kept me at the shoreline, I should say. I didn't really want to go on, the lakes alone and stuff unless I had proper equipment and things, right? But yeah, no, and all the legends of that, right? Like how the Star Woman dropped her like the medicine bag in the waters, and it created all these monsters in the water, and yeah, there's like a lot of that, right? So there's yeah, with those ones, and the forest beings that like. I feel like there's a natural framework for them. So like, I'm not too like, if it's from our dimension, our planet Earth, our frequency here, and it's part of us, like part of our spiritualities here on Earth.
Right.
And then I'm not, I'm not too, like, it doesn't take me, too far, but like when I, hear like some of the darker dimensional beings and things like that coming through and whatnot, that it does get freaky when they start to, do their thing, and you start to hear the bangs, and the things start breaking around and stuff, and like and very violently too, like you can hear the charge at you and stuff like that, and there's like some pretty nefarious ones. But if it's like a person doing something like in our dimensional frequency, like it's a ghost, you can kind of tell, you can kind of discern it, like you can kind of communicate with them, there's different things you can kind of, then you can tell, like, all right, so this is, but if it's, it's something is going terribly wrong in this place, and like, there's definite need of prayers, multiple prayers, not just one person, like there's multiple people praying there, and not just man, but man and woman praying there as well. And that balance, right? It's like, it's a very different kind of cosmic force that you're dealing with in that sense. That's where it gets kind of freaky and strange.
What scares you?
There's definite like, I feel like what freaks me out more is it's like our ability, like we're like the fact that people are closing themselves off to the spiritual connection of the universe, and then leaving themselves open as such, like open targets and vessels, walking around, and they just get manipulated by certain beings just in their day-to-day lives. And and that's kind of like that's a tough one to deal with. But yeah, like I said, it takes a lot to like, I should say, super storms, like the mega storms, like things like that, like giant, like where like planet changing events kind of deal. Like I guess that freaks me out. And that's also the belief, like that's one of the prophecies there too, is if it's all forgotten. And it said that the great fire bringer of the fire would cover the earth and destroy it once again to be renewed, like in the ancient world times. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, so, but like I said, there's a lot of us out here, and a lot of us people are still preserving a lot of the beliefs and ways of life and that connection. And a lot of us too out there that are awakening into this universe and this reality, and are making their connections, and it's, I have faith that it's that's what's taking place, and it's going to be better, like there's still good times ahead.
Travis Willier Moostoos is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. You've mentioned a couple of times about UFOs and aliens. I'm going to assume this is where your primary focus is right now, with all the activity that is going on. What makes a UFO encounter so unique? Are they all different? Do you find many of them are the same when it comes to your people?
No, they're quite different. Some of them are on that on such a universal frequency that when it happens, it's just almost like it's that spiritual, like it comes from a spiritual understanding, a spiritual place. So like a lot of times, like it could be just as quick as like a star flying down from the sky and picking somebody up. Others told me where they've just like they were picked up from their house, like their homes, and taken, and there's other people who talk about it, seeing them in the woods and are just in the cities and stuff like that, right? Different versions of these extraterrestrials. But as for the UFOs, the technology is so beyond our understanding. Like the guy said, they just, they could just pick somebody up or anything up, like from the fields or on our planet's surface, and they're able to go across Canada in seconds, like just flying across and instant turns, and it just feels like where they're at in that ship, it's all connected, and it's like the UFO for us is it in many different forms. Like the way we experienced it in our ceremony was they came in clouds. Like the cloud itself was like the UFO. Like they uses the spiritual frequency in that cloud was all they were there in that, and they were able to move that cloud around, and where they come from, they could just appear from that in that area, or they sense that frequency. There's they were like, so there's clouds, there's stars in the night sky, flashes, and you could see it too. Like when it's quite different than just a quick little blink of a supernova in the far vast different distance of the galaxy. But then you get these just pure, like, emanating lights that just is solid, and you can almost see like this this object just going by, and it's almost like it's like acknowledging that presence, or that like you in the moment of the universe, right, and that existence. So there's a lot of that been happening where people have been seeing it in the skies, and it's kind of like it's making them question it now, and in a good way, right? Like they're starting to go, okay, all right, so this is it's something to be understood here. And a lot of times like I said, people will share their experiences with me, and I get to tell them some of the stuff I've experienced and show them some of the things that I've encountered over the years, and it's a bit, as for that, like it's the UFOs like been making more appearances, and they have different shapes. If people are able to get images of them, like myself and or people out there taking pictures of them, like they have always a different shape or a different direction, or I should say times of days, and sometimes they're out in the middle of the day, like some of them were huge flat just flat squares, like almost like a giant like flat square disc in the sky. Not disc, but just a flat square tile, I should say, just flying in sky, huge, like metal thing. And some of them have been like strangely shaped, like horseshoes, and different kind of boomerang styles and things of that nature. Like the Palladian ones that we've seen have been shaped like boomerangs, and they have like blue engines and stuff like that, thrusters.
Really?
Yeah. And you enter, and those are the fastest ones in the galaxy, and it's kind of cool because you got to enter into them through the back, like there's like a little like a door you just get kind of go through, and you're in there, and when you're in there, it can change to, like, you could fly in many different ways in there. Like the pilot, the chairs and stuff, they change to your design. So because some aliens that fly them don't have the same limbs as us and things, right? So these pilots, they can change, like morph, like the controls themselves, and that's why it feels like the ships are alive themselves, because it's like working with who you are and your abilities and the connection of that universe and frequency. And
Have you ever been on craft?
Yeah, well, like that's like what I get a lot of these like experiences, and I see a lot of how these things work, and like they showed me their thermonuclear engines and fusion engines, and how those, like, the coils look inside their ship, and how like a lot of their buildings are like, it's pretty cool, like and just like the highways and stuff, like how it works, like sometimes they'll just go straight up and right across the the city skyline. It's interesting, right, when you see these things, and it's just a galactic kind of conglomerate of different species across our Milky Way galaxy, and it's very rare that we get like any of those other, like the far, like out of our galaxy species, and those ones are usually just after like ancient technology and different kind of I should say like artifacts left from previous like extraterrestrials like traveled as far as them, and yeah, there's like it's quite different like in terms of when people see your see there's cities in space and stuff. And
have you ever flown the craft?
yeah, well, that's part of it is a lot of times like when you're there and you go into their crafts, there's like no, like there's really sometimes like the regular crafts like this, like the day-to-day what people can use and stuff, like not a fighter craft like the one I explained earlier. This one's like you'd go around the city and kind of deal, and they just have seats in them. You just sit in it, and it's almost like telepathic, like you're in it, and it knows where your destination's going, and it takes you there. And all the other vehicles are all like flowing on this frequency and through space, like through the city, and yeah, so it's like it connects you through like the ship, and you just kind of like you don't really even need it maneuver anything, or in that sense, it just kind of drives you where you need to go. And yeah, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Like the other ones, some of them, like there are some that are alive, and like they eat certain kind of I should say they have a certain sledge for them, like a nuclear sledge for them, like almost like a radiation waste. They could just shovel it in and feed them and stuff. But yeah, no, there's like like I said, some of them are alive. Some of the ships are alive, and but like I said, the ones that I flew, like were just kind of like they knew where you were going, and you didn't really need to go to but the other ones I've been shown and seen how they operate and things like that. But that's tales for another day, I guess.
Well, I mean, but that's, let's go there. We got 2.5 minutes before we go to break.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Like I was lucky enough to be like I said, I was there, and I was able to be a part of their they showed me the ship. They showed me there was like this crystal technology, like in the middle of the ship, there was like a crystal healing room that I was able to elevate my frequency with. Like they had it was like almost like a ceremony that was like able to power these crystals that were, all sorts of colors, and yeah, that was kind of like my I was able to use the technology a little bit after that, more better, and then like I said, accessing like the libraries to do that too, and yeah, the data rings that fly out of the books. And anyway, aside from all that, eventually you get the suit, you get to wear like this, you have like a suit that goes like or on you, and that connects you to the ship. But like I said, it's essentially, it just starts when you enter in. It like a lot of the things start to power up and activate because it senses that you're in there, and yeah, some of them, like the crafts, like they could be large, and some other ones are just personal, and these, like I said, they all flow in this. They have this like the ship that's designed to operate these things inside of it, right? And they're able to fly around in there, and because it's like a giant ship, it's like a space station in space, but there's a city in there, and the city, like it houses many different aliens, and that's where kind of like where I had a lot of experiences.
Is that the Galactic Federation?
It's it's in a sense like it is there is like a sort of like a sense of that. There's a sense of this, I should say, like a giant, I should say, a peaceful set of aliens that have, like they told me, like not like there's other aliens that have different, beliefs and set of beliefs and things like that. But these ones were more open to Earth beings and our existence yet, and yeah, they were quite open about that. But they were more like I said, it was a conglomerate of all these like different species, and it was kind of like just like a galactic where they were all meeting up, and there was like like I said, a shared space for them, I guess. Like there's a lot of different spaces there. Like I said, there was a library and like a data library. Like the reason why I say that is like it was like from what I was told, like that was to help me with the understanding of the technology and understanding of like getting into the ships and how those would connect with my frequency and stuff. So like, and not only that, but like some of the medical technology as well. But yeah, that's different.
Travis, we have you for another 30 minutes on Spaced Out Radio. When we return, we're going to take some audience questions from our chat rooms. Travis Willier Moostoos on SOR.
All right.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we are clear. Wilford Brimley, how you doing? How's the diabetes tonight? Andromedan, how you doing? Al Gray over on Twitch, checking in from the gym, where he's literally doing 18 reps, 3 sets of 18 reps, 850-pound cryptid leg presses. 815 pounds, 18 times, 3 reps. Cryptid leg presses. Good job, Al Gray. Way to work that. Alien Fields, how you doing? Chairman Meow, how you doing? Good to have you back. Mr. Cowley, welcome back to the show. Oh, Mr. Cowley loves his Spaced Out Radio. What's good? I don't know what's good. I don't know. Good question, Joe. Fap, the only thing you're benching is hot dog to mouth and then back down. I bet you, Fap, every t-shirt you have has a mustard or ketchup stain on it. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. You're the West Coast Joey Chestnut. Cluster, how you doing? Felipe, how are you, buddy? Don't worry, Cluster, it's only soccer. If I was hockey, I'd feel your pain. Chestnuts, not chin nuts. That would make Fap. Well, Fap could be a Balchinian. He could be a Balchinian. Fap, are you a Balchinian? Please let us know in the chat. Hmm. Oh, look at that. It's Travis Willier Moostoos, everybody. Thurston Howell the Third, how you doing? How's
All
Lovey?
right. All right. It's going good. It's going good.
We got about 45 seconds, brother. Thank you to T-Bone, Jeff, Steve Garvey, Mark, and Danielle for the super chats. Greatly appreciate your love and support. Don't forget, if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up. And after the show, leave a comment. It really helps with our algorithm, so we'd greatly appreciate it. We got about 15 seconds.
Ooh.
All right, Travis, here we go. We're into the second half of Spaced Out Radio. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Let's get right to our guest, Travis Willier Moostoos. He is a monster hunter from the Cree Nation, just outside of Edmonton, Alberta. And question number one for you tonight. From ACUF, Travis, if it's taboo for a First Nations person to speak the name of specific cryptids, do they have code words that they use for them, or are those words taboo or cursed as well?
All right. Yeah, no, that's a great question. And not in the sense like I wouldn't use them like often, or trying to connect that energy to your spiritual being or tether it in that sense. Like I wouldn't build that connection, but yeah, they are considered to be like you wouldn't say it, but if you're telling the story or you're telling the tale in a ceremony setting, and it has that you have to you tell the tale for what it is, right? And the legend of whatever it may be, and in that setting it is safe. That usually then it's like protections are up, and there's it's a time and place for it. But as for like when I'm telling it and I'm talking about some of the experience that that we've had over the years, like these are stories and things that have happened and experiences that have happened over the years, like in during my lifetime and my family's lifetime, and experience with some of these cryptids and spiritual beings and some of the ceremonies that have happened and but yeah, no, when I'm experiencing some of these darker entities out there, we do have words that decipher which ones are from the light world or from the other dimensions, and you can figure it out kind of easy. Like sometimes what we say will drive them away, and then others that stick around, and that's another level of distortion there.
So is it more for spiritual respect not to name creatures that could cause harm or cause grief?
Usually they're like that. Their names are very tethered to like their dark deeds or the darkness that they are, right? So it's kind of like and then to identify them, right, is really what it's about too. But it's like you don't really want to call that out or make connection with that kind of thing, right? So and then people say it, then it's like if you do the right, you reset your connections and your connection to the light, and you reaffirm your groundedness within reality, then you shouldn't have to worry about that too much. But if somebody's like doing it in a dark manner and they're trying to let's say summon it or use their energy to connect that into our world, then that's that's where it gets pretty bad. That's a bad one because it doesn't turn out well.
All right, let's go to Joe here in California. Why do humans have such aversions to reptiles?
It's it's one of those. We have the connection, deep connection of the world and the universe. Like when the Earth itself was being created, and there's a few beings and that were appointed as spiritual beings that would be a part of, like, that would give a part of their spirit to create the energy of the Earth, and the dragon was one of them. And that's where you get a lot of the firestones, like the quartz crystals, and all the crystals in the earth come from the spirit of the dragon that gave itself up for the creation of the earth, of the earth, and in our planets, like in our galaxy and stuff. Like, that's what I'm saying, is like there was all these like different spiritual beings that played a special role in the creation of it all, right? And that's one of them. And we hold a lot of respect for all the the relations with all the animals, and what their roles are in terms of the medicine world, and what they mean for us in our Earth, and how they play that part, because everything's all connected, right? It's all, there's a cycle of this life, and a lot of the teachings and how they play the spiritual part in our journey, and what we are. That's a big factor. And they've been around since the ancient times. That we call them like the guardians. Some like refer to them as the guardians, and that's part of like that. People feel that protection from the crystals and their stones, right? That's where that comes from, and so yeah, there's that, and it's part of our like I said, our ancient evolutionary inheritance through DNA.
All right, let's get to another one here. Let's go to Walter. Travis, have you ever heard or seen a tall, extremely black, two-legged cryptid that had black hands that looked like puffy mittens, reportedly seen in the Rockies?
Yeah, those large, tall figures like that, yeah, they tend to be around in like more rockier formations, and there's a couple of different versions of that, and that can come from a different, darker dimension too. Like there's some like that have appeared with horns and stuff, and very very close and very similar to the buffalo man-eater people, and like these there's a lot of the those kind of like horned ones that come through, right? That dark dimension, and yeah, those they can be a problem, and usually sometimes people will they'll say prayers, or have put up like a protection, or kind of to keep like the land or people safe, because like there's something some distortion going on there, so people would try to do their best to bring good energy there, or to clear that kind of deal, right? And that's the best option. Yeah, there's some like figures that have appeared like that through through the shadows and haunted houses and like haunted places, like people's like homes that have been spiritually like there's a distortion that opened up there, and then they're dealing with these things coming through, and yeah, like they'll run from room to room, breaking through doors and stuff, and that's why when you mentioned when you read that out loud and I heard that, that's what came to my mind. I was thinking, like, I was like, yeah, that's seems like what we've experienced on that like on the haunting level, like you're exercising a house kind of deal and clearing it of the negative entities that have been harboring their way through there, and yeah.
All right, next question. This one comes from Cosmic Voice. Travis, do you believe your experiences are happening in the waking physical life or in your sleep?
I think it's there's a part of like I think it happens, so like it's reality, but where they're taking me in that frequency and that density, the time in that spiritual world, it's not like our linear time here. So when I go there and I come back, or when I'm brought back here, it's like it's almost like within, if you can mistake it as a dream, or you can mistake it as like like you almost like, whoa, because you come back and it's like nothing's, nothing had changed, but you had this profound experience play out, or you see this, you've experienced these things, or are part of that, like you have that memory that that's there, and it slowly comes back to you. But there's also that case too where people like remembered afterward, and I've heard of that too, like from people themselves, like in person. I've heard that, and but me, I knew that it was this profound experience because it was just as similar as when I was doing the spiritual ceremonies out in the forest there with the fasting and the spiritual connection there, and that seeing the shapeshifters then, and so I knew that there's this it was happening, but it was just wasn't on in our frequencies time frame, or it was just like, because we have a set of time that's distinct by our sun and the rotation around it, and but on that spiritual world, or in that density, and you go in that dimension, the time is not the same here, like as here. So I just get, it just comes back. You're just here again, and it's just like, whoa, but that that you've experienced these things and seen these things, and that's kind of like where you carry that into our world, or into our reality. That that experience that's coming, or you have like you've been given like a message, or sometimes it's that too, right? People have profound experiences, and you're given messages or things, and so
love it. All right. Joe is asking, is Coco Pele a spirit or an alien?
Well, we're all spiritual beings. Like at the end of the day, like we're all, like, even me and everyone, you and I, everyone listening, like we're all spiritual beings. And so like that's when when in native belief we'll say all our relations, right? And we're connecting with all the spiritual beings on every level and plane of the existence and dimensions, and we're also connecting with that higher frequency, ultra-terrestrials. Like that's where we're, like, our frequency, our vibrations go to, is it praying to the universe, and so like a little bit of both, I should say. Like yeah, we're also like, to other aliens on other worlds, we're alien. So that's kind of
that would be true. I mean, you can't even argue that. You can't even argue that. All right, let's get to another one. Let's go to Grandizer. What about the Gugway, a baboon-like Sasquatch? That doesn't scare you?
That it would honestly, I would take a good look at it, and kind of like I would take my moment and be like, okay, all right, what is that? Like I would have the what is that moment, like there, if you're, yeah. And to be honest, right, and be fair, and once it's assessed, like I'd be like, okay, is this like of our planet here? Like, is this a dimensional frequency here from our Earth, or is this like, how is this? I'd start to weigh in the factors, like, are we in an area that's not meant to be? Like, is this a known area for darker entities and stuff, like, so there's all these like little factors that would I would account for. But yeah, Gugway, things like that seem to be in close relations to Sasquatch, because there are different variations of them too, like they have their share across the planet as well, and yeah, so like it, to me, I see that's like a fair assessment to say that it's part of our natural frequency, the framework of that. So.
Terry is asking, Travis, are you ingesting something to have experiences?
No, that's one of the things, is these things, like when they happen, these visions happen in complete state of like there's no alterations to your mind state, or even in the ceremonies we do, like the sweat lodges, like our Cree people, we don't practice the hallucinogens or any of that, like any of those, like not even like the sages and stuff that we do use on a daily basis. None of that's like hallucinogenic or anything like that on that level. So no, I can't say no. It's not. It's just the natural frequency and connection, trying to do I should say remain our most like trying to get our bodies the most purest that it can be to make that connection to the universe, I should say. Spirit and soul.
We appreciate it, man. And you work so hard finding this information. The majority of your education in this subject, has it been from that spiritual contact, or has it been from the elders?
A lot of this stuff has been experienced. Like I've lived my my life through ceremonies and most of my connections with people and like my aunties and my uncles were all practicers of this of our native spirituality out here. They're all pipe holders and bundle holders to some degree, and like I said, the healers of the area. Like my uncles were known for that, and so learning that from my family and how it was passed down and the connections like themselves, like the spiritual world, the extraterrestrials and the ultra-terrestrials, like all those experiences like were a part of that life's path that I've lived throughout my years, and a lot of the people that, like I said, the elders of the area too, that have shared with me their experiences with the Star Nations and I should say the paranormal and profound, right? And it's been that in my journey, it's been that way. Like I've been as open as I can be to that level of frequency, and when it's meant to, like I say, like the universe is a very interesting way. Like it's not like all the time, like every day I experience some sort of monsters and stuff, but it's like when it happens, it's there's a reason for it, or in the time and space when it's meant to be dealt with in that area or whatever where the place is taken, if it's a house or our forest area, or if you're experiencing along a hunt or something, just somehow you encounter it, right? There's meaning to a lot of these things, and then if you're meant to deal with it, you can get rid of a lot of these things. But a lot of times I will seek the help and guidance of the spirit world, and that's where a lot of the where I get my information to how I deal with certain entities or things or what I need to do, because it's not all the same. Sometimes it's simple as like I have to build a certain protection or things in the area, and then I can just bring in the good energy from the spirit world, and then everything else there is cleared out, and then sometimes it is like a 4-day thing where it's constant prayer, and I'm cleansing a house with a certain type of things from the forest and sending and driving like that negative frequency away, right? And so there's many different levels to it, and like I said, through life, man, it's been my experiences and connections in that regard.
Next question comes from, let's go, Lenda. What are Lacerta reptilians?
Lacerta reptilians. It sounds like something inner Earth, like in relation to inner Earth. A lot of the reptilians. There's a lot of different reptilians that have been on our planet, and a lot of times they have these connections to our inner Earth and from the ancient eras, and if they're, it sounds like something along that lines. As for me, like it doesn't ring too much of a bell, because like a lot of times like these, like the aliens and stuff, like I will recognize some, but some of them, they don't have like they don't have personal names. They don't have like, they'll just like you can get some information, but not all the information you wish to have. Like when you asked me earlier with if there was a galactic alliance, or but I felt it was like a federation or something along that line, or like a different type of sect of beings like that were all together like in this galaxy. As for the ones that I was we're dealing with was from our neighboring star systems, and these were within our galaxy, our Milky Way galaxy. They weren't outside of our galaxy. This was all within our our galactic neighborhood, I should say. So yeah, there's always
let's move on to another one here.
Yeah.
Let's go to Joe, Cosmic Joe. Is there any purpose to these beings to modify us for future endeavors?
Well, it's mainly for the harmonization of our universe and for us and to benefit our lives and so that we may experience a more full universe and we may make those progressions in that general direction towards living in new worlds and planets and also discovering ourselves within our galaxy and Milky Way galaxy and yeah, it's almost to get us on that level with them too, because like they see potential in our abilities to be amongst like that the ultra terrestrial beings, because we have such a unique ability to harness a frequency that's on a level of not only our density, their density, but also our Arcturian level density, which is one of the ultra terrestrial pathways of light. So it's almost like for some it will be that's the path, like, and then there's others who are part of like this experience with where we are in the cosmos and existing amongst that, right? And it's good. On that galactic scale, that's where they see us heading and joining them in that in the community kind of deal. So it's it's been a slow progress to helping everyone relocate their energy and frequency into that into their I should say into the universe, so they may be more open to that. When it does happen, like the extraterrestrials start to make the connections or start to show them this as well, this information, or start to appear to them as well, or in our space and skies. And yeah,
3 minutes to go, Travis. Let's get one more question in. Actually, maybe two.
Yeah.
Let's go to Joe. I was hunting dinosaur bones in Colorado and found a pile of eagle feathers. I collected them and have had them for a long time. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh, it's a good thing. If it was if they were just on the ground, that's fine. Like that's not a. I would just I'd show my gratitude to the area or to the forest, the eagle spirit. I'd be more. I should say more. I'd have a more respect for in that direction for that. Yeah, I would. I would try to honor that more, that the spirit of the eagle and the connection to that the area that you found them in. Yeah, that's a good spot.
Final question from Linda. Do you think pictographs and petroglyphs depict alien scenes?
Yeah, and dimensional beings, ultra terrestrial beings that have visited or passed messages down to help elevate our existence here on Earth, and and also visitations. People like to honor them, and because they've been only very courteous and respectful to a lot of these. Went in the ancient encounters and different beings across our planet, and I should say tribes of people, and like it's definitely symbology of not only that, but the ancient beings that have existed here on the planet, and then a lot of tales that align themselves around those pictographs too, and the memories of these ancient tales and beings and our existence here in the planet. Yeah, I feel like that's also too a reminder for us to that they were here once before, and of course they'll return to see us again.
1 minute to go. Where can people find your work, Travis, and your books?
Yes, you can find my books on Amazon, Travis Willier. You can look up Bakakos, Wichita Star Warriors, and the Jupiter Lunar Bug Wars, and you'll see a few of my books out there. I have about 8 so far, or seven or 8 so far. There's some you can find online as well, but yeah, Blue Lightning cards on YouTube as well. I have that as well, that place.
Buddy, we love it when you're on this show. You're very popular with our guests, and I want to say a big thank you for coming on back into Spaced Out Radio. You're one of the good ones out there. Travis Willier Moostoos, monster hunter extraordinaire. from the Cree Nation just north of Edmonton, Alberta. That's why we love him when he is on this show, because he's just so damn knowledgeable. Coming up next on Spaced Out Radio, Swamp Dweller will kick off the next hour with another creepy story. Then we're going to follow that up with some major UFO news. If you were paying attention earlier today, there was a big conference in the UFO world. We'll get to it with Grant Baker.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
Great job, buddy.
Well, it's been excellent, Dave. I'll see you around, man. Take care, everyone out there. And
Absolutely, my friend.
Yes, have a great rest of the show.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
Stop now! You're under arrest! Hands up! Don't move!
Don't get caught without your Spaced Out Radio merchandise. We have t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, socks, hats, stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can look the part? We don't have ugly merch, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Dirty filth. Dirty filth. Dirty filth.
Object is heading north 045 degrees. It's definitely not a plane. It seems to be tethered to something. Is that a banner, Joe? Caribou Con. Does anyone know what Caribou Con is?
Caribou Con, one of the BC Caribou region's best-kept secrets. Until now. Join our panel of renowned paranormal experts for a weekend of fun and intriguing presentations. Go to cariboucon.com to book or inquire now. Discover Spaced Out Radio on all your favorite platforms. We're live every single night with the best in UFOs, cryptids, paranormal, and the unexplained. And you can find us on all your favorite platforms. Head over to Instagram for behind the scenes and daily weirdness, TikTok for quick mind-bending clips, Facebook for community discussions, and X for real-time updates and hot takes. Wherever you scroll, Spaced Out Radio is there. So go search Spaced Out Radio on every platform, hit follow, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single episode. The Weird is waiting. See you there.
The McNeil House is one of several buildings at the 108-mile heritage site, said to be haunted by spirits of a time long forgotten. But would you stay the night? Along with guided ghost tours and paranormal investigations, Haunted 108 is offering a chance to spend the entire night inside the historic McNeil House by booking one of our B&B style sleepovers, where you can experience the hauntings firsthand, meet the resident ghost cat, and witness unusual activity. If you dare to turn history into a night you'll never forget, book your spot now at haunted108.com. Spots are limited. Will you be brave enough?
All right, let's bring in Grant Baker. There he is.
Hey, Bubba.
We call him Dr. Handsome around here. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. I'm good.
Let me open
Man, what a crazy UFO day.
Bro, you're not kidding. Like, yeah.
We're going to spend a lot of time on that.
Easily. I went ahead and went through it, and I sent you a link earlier today that it was too jumbled for me. Like it jumped around a lot. So I went ahead and revised it and then expanded upon it. And I got everything you need, my man. Everything you need.
Beautiful.
Except
thank
for
you tonight to Stacy, Danielle, T-Bone, Mark, and Jeff for our super chats. We greatly appreciate your love and support of Spaced Out Radio. Swamp Dwellers, about 3 minutes. Here we go with hour number 3 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We love it when you are here enjoying the woo with us. So make sure you sit back and relax because we got one more hour to deliver for you. Grant Baker coming up with the UFO report. Right before him, Swamp Dweller. But first, we want to say hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is, where did I put it? Hold on. It is Idioglossia. That's the one right there. Idioglossia is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp.
Something really weird has happened to me twice. I have told the story to some of my friends, but no one has experienced anything similar. So I am wondering if anyone out there has gone through the same thing or has an explanation of what this might be. So, the first time this happened, I was around 10 or 11 years old. My sister, who was around 3 years at the time, and I shared the same room. She was sleeping in her cradle, and it was sometime around 8 a.m., I believe. I just was woken up, and I stayed laying on the bed looking toward the direction where my sister was still sleeping. Then, what I thought was my mom walked into the room, wearing a salmon pink PJ she had on. Then, she stood right in front of my sister's cradle. She just kept staring at her sleeping, which I thought was odd, But I didn't think much of it. Then out of nowhere, she said, "Boo," and disappeared. Right after that, my sister started crying, and then my actual mom walked in, wearing a different set of PJs, by the way, picked her up and took her to her room. I didn't say anything at that moment. I just stayed there quiet. I don't really know why I didn't get scared at the time. I guess I was just so confused. I know it was weird, but I guess I just didn't think much of it. The second time, something similar happened. I was in my senior year of high school, so I must have been probably about 18 years old or so. I was sleeping in my room. At the time, my sister had her own room, so I was alone, and I was woken up by the sound of my mom yelling my name very, very loud. It sounded almost as if she was angry. I woke up a little bit frightened since it was a school night, and I thought maybe I woke up late to go to school and she was mad at me because of that. This happened often, to be honest. But then I realized it was still dark out, since I didn't see any light coming from the window. I saw my mom standing right in front of my window. It was dark, but I could still see her. She just kept staring at me and didn't say a word. I thought that was really weird, so I said, "Mom?" And right after I said that, she began to distort, almost as if she was like a hologram. And then she or it disappeared. This time, I was really scared, so I ran into my parents' room and stayed there for the rest of the night. The following morning, I told them what happened, but they told me I must have been sleeping. I don't really know what happened that night, but I am pretty sure I was awake because the noise of someone that sounded like my mom yelling woke me up in the first place. Nothing like that has ever happened to me again, but I have always wondered what that thing was and why it happened twice, and why I'm the only one that remembers anything. It seems like time always stops when these events happen too. It seems like, I don't know, I'm like almost ripped out of time itself. Has anyone experienced anything similar, or has any clue as to what this thing or things might be, and why it would look like my mom, and why it seems like time slows down or stops?
Thank you, Swampy, for another spooky story. If you want more just like that, head on over to YouTube, type in Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell. Thousands of stories for you to listen to right there on his channel. You'll love it. I do, so make sure you check it on out. Time for Grant.
Staring at the stars tonight, still shining in the sky. Grant's got the stories breaking through. What's hidden now comes into view. From distant lights to secret files, mystery tracks. The truth revealed. Every signal slowly peeled. So tune in close, don't miss the facts. UFO facts, we've got your backs. Becomes a song.
All right, Grant Baker, it's good to have you back on the show. Busy day in the UFO world in Washington, D.C. Let's just jump right into it.
Oh, this is we're taking a massive historical shift out of Washington D.C. right now. If you still think that the conversation around unidentified aerial phenomenon, also known as UAP, is confined to internet forums and late night like sci-fi conventions, it's time to wake up. I mean, right now the old paradigm of don't ask, just trust the process is completely fractured on Capitol Hill. Today being Thursday, the disclosure forum didn't take place in a hotel conference room or even a closed door briefing. It took place inside the historical Kennedy caucus room in the Russell Senate office building. That is the exact same room that hosted the Watergate hearings and the Titanic investigations. I mean, the symbolism couldn't be sharper. We're seeing a coordinated, bipartisan, multi-pronged constitutional battle over who has the right to know the truth or the true nature of our reality. You know, you got lawmakers, formal high-ranking intelligent analysts, decorated military officers, and top-tier Ivy League scientists sat side by side to deliver a clear message to the executive branch and the Pentagon that secrecy is over. And the American people can handle it. I mean, we're going to break this down and jumping right in. Let's just get to it, because this is a heavy bipartisan coalition. It's including representatives like Annapolina Luna, Eric Burleson, Tim Burchett, and Andre Carson. Almost lost that one there. They all took stage and they didn't hold back. They are openly accusing, specific legacy agencies of bypassing congressional oversight. Everybody's been talking about that for a long time, and flat out ignoring, statutory disclosure laws. Representative Luna dropped a bombshell. She revealed that Congress has compiled a specific list of names that they are pushing the White House to grant absolute immunity. And, when you listen to this, it's like, what is the goal? Well, I think it's to allow these individuals to come forward and safely share what they know about recovered non-human craft and biologics, as David Grush has so eloquently put. Representative Annapolina Luna was also very blunt when she hasn't personally seen these things yet, but she knows the people who have, and Congress is determined to get them protected. And, but why the need for special immunity? And I'm sure a lot of listeners are questioning that as well, because right now the system is rigged against the truth. And, people that live down here in the United States have been gathering forces on that. If you take a poll, lots of people don't think they're telling us the truth ever. You got panelists at the forum emphasize that, current whistleblower protections are completely inadequate. The stigma around, this topic is being weaponized now. If you speak out, you don't just risk your reputation, you risk your security clearance, your future career options, and literally, your literal ability to support your family. So your family's at risk.
Let's listen to Annapolina Luna right now.
Absolutely.
Because I think this is important. Here we go.
People say, we want to know where locations of craft and biologics are, right? So we know for a fact that there have been a few very credible whistleblowers that we've talked to that allege that they have information specifically pertaining to this, but they're afraid of losing their clearances. So we have talked directly to the White House. Stephen Miller is absolutely incredible on this topic. And we are providing them with a list of people that will be given immunity, in that they will not have to face retribution in the future for violation of their security clearance, or in some cases, maybe the Espionage Act, whatever it might be. And that will be them going to the White House, divulging what information they have. And we're following up on it. I'm not saying that I have personally seen stuff. I haven't. But what I am saying is that we are taking the information that we have received, we are handing it off, we are going to get them immunity and protection so that they can divulge that information, and let's see where it leads.
Powerful statement there, Grant.
Very powerful. And it needs to happen. It really needs to happen, especially with these people that are coming out. They need to have this immunity. The people have, the people not just of the United States, the people of the world need to know this. And what they're hiding behind closed doors and what black ops programs are hiding somewhere, in what warehouse in the desert, we have no idea. But we need to know the truth. We're the ones paying for it. And I think we're not.
Here's something that I thought was extremely important in this conversation. This goes to Kirk McConnell, Kirk McDonald, pardon me, who talks about experiencers, Grant. Now, I'm an experiencer, you're an experiencer. Many people in our audience are experiencers, much more beyond just seeing a blip of lights in the sky. And he delved right into it. He got very much emotional while sitting up on stage with people like Chris Mellon and others discussing experiencers. And I think it got really real here.
The people who have encountered non-human intelligent beings, either been abducted or close encounters, and they have a lot of information. They've been marginalized and ridiculed for decade upon decade, but they are a repository of knowledge about the nature of these beings and how they communicate, what they've communicated, why they say they're here, why they say that they're behaving the way they do. So I think there is a great untapped potential for the private sector to pitch in and solve this problem.
And yet with something...
That was a profound statement, in my opinion, buddy. I'm
Insanely.
curious your opinion of Kirk McDonald.
I could not agree more with what he said. Being an experiencer, just like you said, there are so many people out there like you, me, and everybody that's listening that has an experience with this phenomenon. Our voices are subdued. We're not being heard. And there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of information that I think needs to get out there as well. He couldn't be more on point. That was
Let's
right
take a
on.
look at his resume. I apologize for cutting you off, but let's take a look at his resume from LinkedIn. I want to thank Joe Mergia, UFO researcher, for posting this on X. Joe does great work. He really does. Now, McConnell retired in February 2024 after 37 years as a staff member of the Senate Armed Services, Senate Intelligence, and House Intelligence Committees, responsible for the Cyber Mission, Intelligence, and Security Science and Technology Information Systems and Defense Organization. This guy was playing ball with a lot of these bigwigs in the Pentagon and in DC, Grant.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think he has a little more knowledge than what he's giving away here, obviously. But when he speaks, he's not a dumb guy. Like he's not someone who's going to speak out of line or out of turn. He's speaking the truth, and realistically, I think it needs to happen.
Well, you know what? It is something that we do have to watch out for here quite a bit. You know, here's Eric Burleson on this topic. So let's get right to this here.
There's some intelligence agencies that are buried within the Department of Energy that we're going to really try to make sure that they disclose. The CIA needs to step up. We need the Department of Energy to step up and release everything that they have. I think that there's some intelligence agencies that are buried within the Department of Energy that we're going to really try to make sure that they disclose.
There we go. So
Yeah.
they were pushing the disclosure movement quite a bit here.
Yeah, yes. So Representative Burleson, everybody just heard or was just listening to, I mean, he's highlighting other things as well. A massive structural loophole. He stressed the urgent need to dig into information hidden deep within the private aerospace sector. And for decades, legacy data has been deliberately migrated into private defense contracts or contractors, excuse me. And it's because private corporations can shield information under the proprietary data laws and commercial secrets. So effectively placing it completely out of the reach of, from congressional subcommittees and Freedom of Information Act requests. And, Eric Burleson, he's speaking the truth. And I like it. We need to keep going down this path. The more these people push, it's harder for them to hide it.
It really is. It really is harder to hide it. And, that's where we need to keep pushing forward with it and keep asking those types of questions. I mean, the questions are easy. It's what are they going to do about it? Because here's part of the problem that we have. There is a lot of blustering going on regarding this topic. Okay. And when I see a meeting like this, and then I look at tranche number 3 that was released at war.gov/UFO, we're not seeing anything that is going to blow our minds like they're talking about. Now, I don't personally think that you need the whistleblower protection in order to play these videos. Stop talking about what is scaring pilots and military officials over American airspace, or in my case, Canadian airspace, and start showing me what is the issue. What is going on? I don't want to see dots flying over the desert in Syria. I don't want to see balloons being shot down or dots flying against the constellations at night. What I want to see is craft. What I want to see is where are they parked? Where are the crash retrievals? Where are the aliens? If you have them, flaunt them. Okay? It's not about these war zone videos about what's going on or what was seen in Syria or Iran, Iraq, Lebanon, Israel, Afghanistan. I don't care about that, because you know where they test a lot of their new weaponry? They test it in war zones, Grant.
Yep.
They don't test it in places like over American skies. Sure, they probably fly them, okay, over 29 Palms, Area 51, Dulce, New Mexico, Dugway in Utah. Sure, these are testing grounds. Of course, they're going to fly them there. Okay, but it's not going over Los Angeles. It's not going over New Jersey. It's not going over Buffalo. It's not going over Chicago or even, Lincoln, Nebraska. But they are going to test them and use them in war zones like the Middle East or wherever there is a hotbed of activity, because we're so darn tribal still. So I find that to be not very credible with it. And the other thing, I'm just going to say this. Mike Gold was one of the narrators and MCs for this event. Now, if you go back about a year and a bit ago when Mike Gold sat with, I believe Lou Elizondo was on the panel, George Knapp was on the panel, and one or two others. Basically, he didn't admit to absolutely anything regarding NASA as a former NASA employee and executive. What he did do was beg for money for NASA. And then he played the card that NASA doesn't know anything. We don't know anything. But if you give us more money, we can find more stuff. I mean, that was basically what he did in Congress. It wasn't about UFOs or UAP. It was about getting NASA money. And now that NASA files have been released, and everybody but the mainstream media has been pushing NASA to open your books a little bit more, open the closet, as we've been saying for the last number of years. There's Mike Gold right in the middle of it again. Okay. And no offense, I don't trust the guy. I don't think the public should trust the guy either. Maybe I'm unpopular for saying that, Grant, but this is a guy who withheld, I'm not going to say he lied in front of Congress, but he withheld information from Congress. And now he's trying to be a voice in the UFO community. Sorry. You know what? Go buy a bridge in the middle of the desert, because that's all your word is good for.
I couldn't agree more. And I don't know if everybody knows what NASA actually stands for, and it's not the aerospace stuff. It's never a straight answer. So, and he literally led with that. So I couldn't agree more with you. And, when it comes to Congress, we're not buying it anymore. I mean, you have failures and frustrations in these agencies to produce any kind of documents, ones that Congress even says they know exist. And it's always the same bureaucratic answer, which is we can't locate the files. And, okay, cool. And yeah, I'm just not buying it anymore. I couldn't agree more with you. I mean, the battle lines now are drawn. This is an Article 1 congressional authority versus, unelected and unaccountable intelligence agencies. So yeah, it's time to, take our money back or let them put it where their mouth is and tell us the truth.
Do you think then that this is actually going to push progress? Yes, it's exciting. We have bipartisan, support for this from Democrats and Republicans in the United States. They're all saying the right things. Mm-hmm. But can they break down that wall of the military industrial complex to get this subject out? Or are they just doing it for popularity right now?
Could be a mixture of both. I think with enough pressure, we might be able to get the military industrial complex to share a little. To share everything is not within my lifetime. I doubt that will ever happen, especially because they're trying to weaponize everything. But I don't think that certain truths that would satiate everybody's want, needs, and desires to learn more, especially with the reality that we live in, they can probably give us more than that, and without giving away our national security secrets.
But when you're showing UAP and not UFOs, that's the warning.
Yeah. They're going to hide it from us.
They're going to hide. And look, Grant, I have taken a lot of heat over the last couple of years about the everybody was saying, Dave, it's just semantics. UFO, UAP, same thing. It's not the same thing. They don't want us seeing the UAP, which is their technology. We want UFOs. We want aliens. We want crash retrievals. We want to know why they're here.
This is Spaced Out Radio. Your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we're clear.
Sweet.
Wait.
So I did a timed on this. I'm only at 15 minutes with what I got. I got so much more.
Dude, run with it.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you want me to lead you?
The next one's going to be about the financial markets and missing scientists.
Sure.
I could cruise through it faster than 15 minutes. I could probably do it in about 6 or 7.
All right. We got lots of time. I just want to make sure that we touch on the UFO link that I sent you.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, where the hell is the story here? Oh, I'm blocked from it. So I've read too many Daily Mails, so now they want me to pay for a subscription.
Okay, hold on. I'll get it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, almost missed it. I got it before they did it. Thank goodness. Coming your way.
I'm waiting.
Waiting.
The hell is it?
It's there. I sent it. It's all text format.
Okay. Holy cow! Did you ever send it?
Yeah.
I'm like getting. You must be like way the hell up there because like I'm getting like shit from Madonna and Zendaya, and I'm like, what the hell is that all about?
Yeah, it just.
I'll let you read that.
All right. Well, I got to read it through a pop-up. That won't
You want me to read it?
I can't even get it out of there. I can read through it.
I can read it.
Is yours start with new revelations?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, they're killing me. Oh, there we go. I got it. Those ads are tenacious. Holy mackerel. Yeah, see, it gave you all the advertisements and everything. Dang, that's stupid. Oh, no, I got another one coming in 11 seconds. Okay, I'll keep that there. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, this is okay. I found my spot again. This is my Chris Mellon one. How's everybody doing tonight? Space Out Radio. This is the squeakiest chair. There we go. Holy mackerel. Super stickers, super chats. Got some good ones, man. Thank you guys.
Let's say thank you to Danielle, T-Bone, Mark, Jeff Steve Garvey, and Stacy D. Thank you for the love. If you haven't already, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. It helps with our algorithms. Don't forget to leave a comment after the show about how Grant needs to grow his mustache fully through. If we could do that, that's going to make life a lot easier. It really is. We're coming back in 5 seconds. Here we go with the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio. The UFO Report, Grant Baker, kicking things off here. Grant, big day at the Disclosure Forum in Washington, D.C., and you got more news on it.
Oh, we have plenty of more news when it comes to this. And there's even talk about the missing scientists. There's financial markets. So let's start with that for right now. I mean, if you want to understand the true depths of the UAP cover-up or the UFO cover-up, you have to follow the money. And you have to look at who is being silenced. So during the forum, there was a really sobering and dark topic that was brought up to light by Dr. Pippa Malmgren. I think I'm saying
Pippa
that right.
Malmgren. Her father, who passed away about a year and a half ago now, Harold Malmgren, he was very involved in the government and really near the end of his life started talking about how there is a major cover-up going on. And now Pippa, who's a scientist on her own, has kind of taken over Dad's torch.
Yep. And she was also a former presidential advisor and member of the National Economic Council. So there's speculations that swirled for years in independent research circles about, strange connections between a number of missing and unfortunately dead scientists, specifically those with ties to advanced aerospace and UFO UAP research. Dr. Pippa Malmgren addressed this head on. She noted that statistically, it seems highly unlikely that so many senior scientists with high-level security clearances would disappear or die under normal circumstances all at once. So think about the implication of that statement. So when she argued that this pattern doesn't just, hinder public disclosure, it creates severe uncertainty for global financial markets as well. If there's an obstacle to technological progress so severe that top-tier minds are being systematically removed from the board, that is a civilization-level crisis. Like they're taking people out and taking people off the board. And she stated plainly that every time someone blocks progress, whether by refusing to process paperwork or making threats or engaging in intimidation, it leaves a trail. And we should be able to look back and ask who pulled the pension from the whistleblower, or who organized the character assassinations, or the actual act itself. And it actually led to a major debate on the floor there. And it was, would official UAP disclosure crash the global economy? So the panelists ultimately rejected the long-held government assertion, but the assertion that the markets would completely panic and collapse if evidence of non-human intelligence were disclosed. Wall Street isn't afraid of aliens. It is afraid of asymmetric information, but there was a Dr. Janice Valhauer noted that according to extensive survey data, most ordinary people do not perceive UAPs as a threat to their daily lives. And I can go even back into history on that one. But the real economic impact won't come from public panic. It'll come from a sudden destabilization or destabilizing of, or a disruption of legacy sectors. And we're talking about trillions of dollars tied up in fossil fuels, traditional propulsion, and defense infrastructure. And this is where I get to Christopher Mellon. If he's right, and any recovered UAP technology was gathered using public tax dollars, that technology belongs to the people. And releasing it could propel our technological capabilities hundreds of years forward overnight. I mean, right off the bat. And there was actually a quote that he had said, and it was one of his keynote addresses. It said, "It is wiser to prepare for the future than conceal it." That is really true in my handbook. I would love that to be something that we just need to fundamentally, big oil and energy. Yes, they're going to try to hold on to those billions and trillions of dollars, but globally, and how it would impact the people's lives around the world. If we had unlimited taps of energy, we're talking third world countries that could have energy for pennies, just to buy the technology and then put it up, and then you got free energy for the rest of your life. I mean, it could really propel us into the future, into a better direction. And going from that, they also talked about transmedium threats and medical realities. And for decades, the public narrative around, UFOs, I don't like calling them UAPs, it's been focused squarely on the sky. NORAD telemetry, and I forgot what NORAD actually means. I apologize.
North American Organization for Radar Air Defense.
Thank you. See, that's why I forgot it. Too long.
Mm-hmm.
But they got jet fighter intercepts and lights in the skies. One of the most chilling statements from today's disclosure forum, it completely reframes the tactical threat vector. And there was a retired rear admiral, which most people know as Tim Gallaudet. He stood before the audience and declared, and this is a quote, "Oceans aren't as safe as we think."
Here we go. Safety again.
More money, fear mongering.
Okay, so let's talk about this for a second, because
absolutely,
this is actually kind of important. Gallaudet, of course, a retired rear admiral. Okay, you got to be a pretty smart person to hold that position in the United States Navy. Okay, and when you have him coming out, the oceans aren't as safe as what we think we are. The air isn't as safe as what we think it is. Where can we go? Driving isn't the safest. Airline travel is considered the safest. Sailing on big ships, number 2. So are we supposed to just sit around and be worried all day?
Well, I mean,
it's ridiculous.
For somebody that's right in the middle of Utah, they're not worried about a great white shark in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
I am. I am. I won't even go into a lake around here, dude, because you never know when that fin is going to pop up.
Oh, goodness. Well, I got stories about that, but that's for a different show.
No, but seriously, let's get rid of the threat narrative. We know why they're doing the threat narrative, because the Disclosure Forum and all of these big name groups with the big name scientists, they're looking for money.
Yeah.
How do you get money out of the American government? Threats.
That's exactly what it is. And Gallaudet, he doubles down. I mean, safety in the United States, Canada, even down in Mexico. I mean, we are flanked by 2 massive and vast oceans, the Atlantic and the Pacific. And the only reason why they're saying anything, and I believe you're right, is because of money. But they're talking about, the underwater or transmedium objects that they're saying, also called fast movers or fast walkers or whatever you want to call them. And they say it's a huge and national security threat. and because we're completely ignoring the ocean. And that's exactly what is, you're tying it straight to the pin the tail on the donkey right there. It's all about money. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to make a big money grab out of this. And we got to watch out for that. I mean, even Christopher Mellon backed it up.
And that's part of the big issues, man. Right there is there is no threat until they can prove a threat. Okay, like we us people who actually know how to think. And I would say the Spaced Out Radio audience is filled with people who know how to think. That's why they listen to this show, because they're smart. They're educated. We sit there and we look at things with critical thinking because we deal in critical thinking topics. We're not nut bars. We're not tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists. We are just wanting answers to some ultimate questions. We're not falling for the threat narrative. Okay? Until they being these people like who was on this panel today, and the governments of the world start realizing that we are not being invaded by aliens. It has not happened. It has not happened in the sea. It has not happened on the air. It has not happened in the ground. Are people being taken? Yes. Are some of them having horrible, horrible experiences? Yes. Let's not, say we're in denial of what's going on. But we know why they're doing it. Because if you look at the majority of the people on this staff, they are scientists or retired people who are looking for another pay increase. And look, guys, I'm a capitalist. Okay, I'm not a socialist. I'm a capitalist. You want to talk politics when it comes to finance. But there's a right way and a wrong way. Fear mongering, saying the seas are not safe, the air is not safe. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It really bugs me because that affects your pocketbook as a taxpayer. It affects my pocketbook as a taxpayer. And these guys are getting, if they were to get the budget for it, and at one point, Harvard Professor Avi Loeb said, in order to solve this issue, we need at least $1 billion. It's about money right now. It's not, and paying off and helping out their friends. There is a clique going on in this world, and I don't really care if any of these guys ever come on my show. I really don't. But somebody has to say it, so I will. I appreciate the work they are doing. I appreciate the pressure they're putting on the politicians. I do. But stop with the threat narratives. Because the minute you say threat, that equals money. And not $100 out of my pocket, or 100,000, or 1 million, or 10 million, or even 100 million. We're going to start off with the B word, billions.
Yep.
Billions.
And it's gotten to the point where I'm kind of offended that Avi would say something like that a little bit. And I know he's doing the Galileo project, and it's kind of fun listening to him. He really hasn't produced anything that I've seen of late. I know that he went on another run of shows, but as soon as someone says something like that, it's about the money. And the biggest question is, and there was, Kirk McConnell, it's a former Senate staffer. He raised the question, and it was, does the government actually know what is going on and is keeping it in the dark, or are they just hiding their own profound ignorance? He noted that the United States government perceives a threat. They don't ignore it. And, they say they make massive efforts to investigate UAPs. What is it, behind closed doors? Are they taking all that money and just saying that they're doing this, or someone already all figured it out and they already know what they're doing and they're just gathering the money. And because whether they've succeeded in unraveling what is going on and how it works is probably another story. It's sad that it's about money. And that's all it is. Money and weaponization, fear mongering, using it as a weapon.
The messages are getting mixed. They really are. Let's move on to this story out of the Daily Mail that just came out. Okay.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Grant.
I was going to say absolutely. I'm ready for that one.
All right. So the Daily Mail, which talks a lot about our type of stories, reports new revelations about the missing UFO-linked Air Force general reveal he attempted, this is Neil McCaslin, he attempted to leave the Pentagon's secret research programs days before vanishing. Yeah. Newly released police reports from New Mexico authorities say that retired Major General William Neil McCaslin was attempting to step down from several high-level advisory positions at government-connected research laboratories across the U.S. in the lead-up to his February 27th disappearance. The new clues were released in a Freedom of Information Act request by Sarah Bonding, a self-proclaimed historical researcher and author who has been following the McCaslin investigation, revealing previously unseen details about the case. The information documented a March 3rd interview that shows communications between the general's wife, Susan Wilkerson, and a member of the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Ghost Unit, which specializes in anti-gang and human trafficking operations. While Wilkerson had previously claimed on social media that her husband no longer possessed any top secret clearances within the United States government, it was revealed during the interview that he was still an active member of at least 4 different groups with deep ties to national defense secrets. In the report, Wilkerson told authorities that McCaslin was making a desperate attempt to resign from several and possibly all of these secretive projects over fears the 68-year-old was starting to suffer from severe mental decline. All the groups McCaslin was reportedly connected to, including Sandia National Laboratories, Riverside Research, the Kirtland Partnership, and a university-affiliated research center, are involved in high-level research with the Department of War, engaging in projects focused on national security and advanced technologies. McCaslin his disappearance has been the heart of what so many call the missing scientist investigation, with the general's career appearing to overlap with several NASA scientists, nuclear lab workers, and military personnel who either died or vanished without a trace in recent years. A new surveillance image shows retired Air Force General McCaslin the day before he vanished without a trace. Yeah, and this kind of goes on right there. I mean, here's the thing. He lived in a pretty affluent neighborhood. McCaslin, being a retired major general, which would have paid him a couple $100,000 a year, if not more. He's not living in your resident postage stamp subdivision. Probably got a nice house. You're going to tell me that there is not a single camera on any of those houses that picked up him walking out or him getting into that van for the so-called repairman that had come over right when his wife was leaving?
No.
They had to see him leave. One way or another, they had to see him leave, unless somehow he grabbed a ladder, climbed over his fence, and snuck through the neighbor's yard, or somebody dug a tunnel under his home.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Grant?
It's very difficult to believe that somebody can just disappear. They had over 700 cameras within just a few block radius of that house. 700. And not one of them picked him up. Not one. That sounds more than suspicious to me. Something's going on here where it just, I don't know. Either I don't think he's delusional. I don't think he disappeared because he has a failing mind. I think his disappearance was tactical. It's kind of like what's going on now, and I've said this before, where they're like pieces on a chessboard, and they figured something out. There is something big that happened, and they're pulling all their best minds together. They're pulling them together and getting them off the board. And so these people are being able to disappear without a trace. And whoever these people are have technology that allows them to, I don't know, maybe I'm going too sci-fi here, but scrub this stuff from people's Ring cameras, people's cell phones. It's kind of like that movie Goldeneye, not Goldeneye. There was that one where it was a machine that had the ability to look at every single angle, including everybody's Wi-Fi, to see exactly who everybody was, where they were in the world. And they might have something like that. And they're like, oh, we just need to erase all this. And then they just get rid of it. I don't know. It's super fishy, especially being, he's not that old of a dude, but he's pretty old, and I don't know. He's got some serious ties too. So to me, it sounds like he just wanted to disappear.
And that's the same thing Science Bob said, about a month and a half ago, that he thinks that McCaslin just wanted to disappear. And, a lot of times, and he said something profound, that with a multi-billion-dollar brain like McCaslin had, they may have asked him to come live on base. Can't tell anybody, but we need you to come live on base.
I don't know if it'd be a base. It's probably a bunker somewhere.
Or a bunker. Somewhere like that. But that's the kind of thing that somebody might kidnap him over. And once again, we're talking the fear mongering that happens. Unfortunately, sometimes he did. It did.
Mm-hmm.
My friend, it is that time of the night where we got to start winding things down. Grant Baker, our UFO reporter extraordinaire. It's always good to have you here, and we will talk to you next week, my friend. We
Thank
will.
you so much.
I promise.
Look forward to it.
On our next show, Josh Rutledge, the UFO wizard, will be here. We're going to go over every piece of UFO news that is going on in the world, including remote viewing. As we say hello, Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal, rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. Good job, Grant Baker.
Same to you, my man. I'm going to lose my internet here in about 1 minute. It shuts down at midnight. So I will catch you on my phone. Everybody else, you have a good night. Thank you for joining us. Eagle Eye, thank you so much, Bear Marv. Later, all. Good night, everybody. Love you, brother. I'm going to catch you on WABC on my phone.
I'm on my way.
All right. Have a good night, my man.
All right. Yes, to the rest of you, we are going to have WABC coming up here on the Red Apple Audio Network. I will be with Walter M. Sterling here in just a short period of time. So make sure you go check it on out. We definitely want to have all of you tuning in. Paramarv always puts the links in the chat room because he's awesome that way. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, Paramarv has bought tickets to UFO Con. If you want to meet Paramarv, the Paramarv, you got to come to Caribou Con. You have to, September 18th through 20th. Dry Toast, best name on YouTube. How you doing, my friend? And thank you to our super chatters, Danielle, T-Bone, Mark, Jeff, and Stacy. We appreciate your love. Don't forget, if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment after the show. And my hair is messy. So on that note, we'll see you tomorrow night with the Wizard. Okay, everybody? Thank you. Much love. See you soon.
Healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.